Choose your luck level. I watched a movie once about a brother and sister. It was very vague about the why, but both were messed up. Something horrible had happened to them when they were younger. Something that was only alluded to a few times. The dude was a sex addict, and while I was watching the movie, I got interested. So I found a few forums about sex addicts, recovery healthcare professionals who deal with sex addicts, and they have developed a kind of second sense for other sex addicts. In the movie, this was shown by a simple look, like the guy would be on the subway. He'd look around and find another sex addict. They'd share a certain look of understanding. He'd get off and she'd follow him. They'd find a secluded enough place, get it done, and then go their separate ways, often without exchanging any words. One way to interpret this very common situation is how far people are willing to go to satisfy an addiction. But you can interpret this much differently. How we can fine-tune our nonverbal communication, our nonverbal awareness. The movie scene is only one example of our nonverbal communication calibrated to find a very specific and very unhealthy opportunity. But beyond the content, sex addiction, the same structure can be leveraged very, very powerfully to train yourself to see things others miss, to find yourself being in the right place at the right time more and more often. Some people think about that being in the right place at the right time as nothing but pure luck, absolutely outside of our control. But the future is always uncertain. They can't even predict the weather more than a few days out. How many variables does the weather have? A handful. How many variables does life have? A society of a couple 100 million people. How many variables are involved in our day-to-day thinking? Far too many to count. It's very, very easy to use hindsight to say, right place, right time, after everything has already unfolded. But what if every single encounter with every single person could be one of those events? One that will later be remembered as right place, right time. You see somebody at the supermarket but don't say anything. Nothing happens and you forget about it. Or you could say something, create a conversation, exchange numbers, meet one of their friends, and collectively come up with an idea that turns into $1 million business. Is that lucky? Is that random? Or is that based on a deliberate action? Does it really matter? To learn more, visit mindpersuasion.com/live-training.